Well, the time is just gone 9:54 a.m. as we head towards closure this morning on news and views. And time now to focus on the DA mayoral candidate for the city of Tshwane. Now, we know the mayoral positions in many of these metros, in many of these cities, has been a huge topic. It's been controversial in a sense that we've seen mayors come and go. We've seen motions of no confidence, mayors removed. We've seen matters go to court, and the city of Tshwane has seen the resignation of Randall Williams, and this was on the 30th of February. And we've now subsequently learned that the DA and the coalition political parties have agreed to choose DA MP Cilliers Brink as its mayoral candidate in the city of Tshwane. And we are talking right now to Member of Parliament and the mayoral candidate, Cilliers Brink himself. Cilliers, good morning to you, and welcome. We thank you for your time.
Good morning. It's good to be with you.
Yes, it is clear that you are the preferred candidate for Tshwane's mayor, and you have got the support of your coalition partners, and also John Steenhuisen, the DA leader himself, has presented your name. How does it make you feel?
So yeah, I in fact presented my own name. My candidacy was not endorsed by the leadership of the party. I think they stayed neutral in the whole thing, although I've seen some media speculation about it. There was a competitive process and so forth. But to answer your question, it is a privilege and an honor to be endorsed by the DA and our coalition partners in Tshwane. At the same time, there's really no time for celebration. Firstly, because I first need to be elected, and you know how chaotic and disruptive those council meetings can be, especially in places where the ANC have lost power. But also because there is a daunting task ahead of us in fixing the city of Tshwane, especially responding to the findings of the AG and getting control of the city's finances. I mean, that's just the first priority. If we don't get that right, then service delivery is not going to improve. In fact, it's going to decline. So I met yesterday with the leaders of the coalition partners, and they agreed that getting a grip on the finances is the absolute first priority and the first step to improving services and getting value for money in the city.
Yes. Now you come with experience, and you have had experience as a councillor in the city of Tshwane before, and also looking at your role as a member of parliament, as a spokesperson for the DA on cooperative governance and traditional affairs. So you come with a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of experience to be able to take up this post of mayor.
Yes, I do. For most of my time in politics, I was elected 2011 as a councillor for the first time. But for most of my time in politics, I've been preoccupied with local government, either as a councillor in Tshwane, a member of the Mayoral Committee, or as a member of Parliament, where I served on the Portfolio Committee on Cooperative Governance, which, as you alluded to, it deals with local and provincial government. So that has given me a view of the worst of our municipalities in the country, the factors that lead municipalities to start failing, and to stop effectively delivering services to residents. But it's also given me an opportunity to see some of the municipalities that do work, the successes that can be achieved, the turnarounds that can be achieved. And we've got the city of Cape Town, we've got Midvaal here in Gauteng, and of course in Umgeni in KwaZulu-Natal, a young man by the name of Chris Pappas is doing some amazing work. And although you can't compare the city of Tshwane to any of these other municipalities, we can certainly try and learn and draw some inspiration from the mayors and the teams who are getting things done and making sure that municipalities don't follow what is, unfortunately, it seems to be the national trajectory of going downward.
Yes, Cilliers, just looking at what has been playing out around you and looking at your colleagues, people like Umpopalatse, looking at Tanya Campbell, what's playing out in Ekurhuleni, and we've seen how this mayoral position has actually come under threat, and we know to a large extent the reasons for these are political rather than focusing on a local government, effective, efficient local government service delivery, which has basically collapsed in many of these cities. Yeah, and I know it's not a foregone conclusion that you are going to be the mayor. You need to be elected first. But just how do you see, against the background of what's taken place in Joburg, in Ekurhuleni, and just looking at yourself, should you be elected as the mayor of Tshwane?
Yeah, certainly it's important to note that there are no guarantees. So even though the multi-party coalition in Tshwane has got a majority of 2 seats, if we lose a by-election or if one of the smaller parties decides to turn against the multi-party coalition, even if I am elected mayor, I face the same fate as Mpopalatsi or Tanya Campbell. But the important point is to try and build on what we already have, and that is a clear majority in the municipal council. We didn't have that majority in Joburg. We tried to get that majority by bringing in the Patriotic Alliance, and unfortunately, we were outbid by the ANC for the loyalty of the Patriotic Alliance, and so there was never really a long-term prospect of success for us there until the votes change in our favor. And in Ekurhuleni, Mayor Tanya Campbell is still in her position, but of course, she has even a smaller majority there with her multi-party coalition than was the case in Johannesburg. Tshwane is different. We do have those 2 seats that constitute a majority. And as long as we have that majority, we do have a responsibility as the DA and as the other parties in the multi-party coalition to make the most of it, to ensure that we can fix Tshwane's finances and to put the city on a upward trajectory instead of just accepting decline. But just as a general statement, we are a very young country when it comes to coalitions and even competitive democracy. For most of my relatively young life, the ANC has been the dominant party, and most of the elections that I've observed as a young person interested in politics, the ANC always won. And now suddenly we find the situation where the ANC can no longer win elections in urban areas, and we've got to use coalitions in order to fill that vacuum and to offer people an alternative. But those coalitions have got a daunting task because of years, decades, in fact, of state capture, institutionalized corruption, cadre deployment. The sort of the spirit of the ANC is still there, even if its body is dying. So it is going to be a very, very tough challenge. But in difficult times, people have to step up and accept responsibility, and that's what we'll do in the city of Tshwane.
Well, you certainly still have a young life. You don't have a single gray hair, Cilliers, and you've got a long life ahead, and I'm sure a very successful life ahead in politics. Now, interesting, you mentioned finances because a lot of it hinges around finances, and cities just don't have money. And one of the reasons why Umpopalatsi was that loan that under her mayoral ship, they were going to apply. And we see a complete turnaround since she was removed. The very same people that opposed the application for the loan are now actually applying for the loan.
Yeah, so that particular loan in Joburg was needed to fund basic projects and service delivery. It wasn't a political thing. It was in the interest of the residents. So initially it was blocked for political purposes when Mayor Palazzi was in that position. And of course, now that Joburg has got a new Al Jamar ANC-aligned mayor, they brought the very same loan to be approved, the loan that they had voted against in the past. So that does show the games that are played. But, if you look at the finances of municipalities, there are a number of more fundamental underlying issues. The COVID lockdowns hurt the consumers. So, payment rates have generally gone down. the ability of municipalities to collect and to enforce credit control has diminished. We have many illegal connections, entire communities where it's almost impossible for municipalities to come and collect. You've got criminal gangs that block even the police from ripping illegal connections and so on. So very complex problems, but it's important that we focus on that and that we concentrate the efforts of the multi-party coalition and each of the parties that form part of that coalition on solving the problem, and that we don't bicker among ourselves for positions and so on. And I'm quite confident that as I see the situation now, we won't fall into the trap of turning on ourselves as a coalition.
Yes, I know. It's unfair to compare perhaps the city of the city of Tshwane to like the city of Cape Town, because in Cape Town the DA has got an overwhelming majority, and we've seen massive success stories as far as Cape Town is concerned. In fact, I was in Cape Town in December, January, and everybody that comes just raves about Cape Town, saying you're in a different country and you need a passport actually to come back to South Africa. I know those are the sentiments that are being expressed. But just looking at your vision and looking at running the city of Tshwane like the city of Cape Town is being run as the mayor, should you get elected to this?
So it's important to say that although I can draw inspiration from Jordan Hill Lewis's leadership and the achievements in the city of Cape Town, it's very important for people to note that Tshwane is not Cape Town. Jordan has the benefit of years of good government, solid financial management. Of course, there have been missteps in Cape Town, serious mistakes, things that have been neglected. But Jordan started his mayoralty with a solid base of an institution that works, apolitical administrators, and so forth. In Tshwane, it's quite different. As you mentioned, the DA has not been able to govern the city on our own. We've also made serious mistakes. There have been active attempts at sabotage by the former ANC rulers of the city, including placing the city under unlawful administration, causing major financial damage. But the vision for the city is to get a grip on the finances, to improve service delivery to a point where we can say Tshwane is a city that works, but more importantly, it's a city that works for all of its people. Not just folks in suburbs or in CBDs, but also townships. And of course, in the industrial areas, it must be a city that works for all of its people. And if you get the basics right, and you sustain that for a number of years, then you can be in a position like Cape Town, where you use your own resources to protect people against state failure by investing in own energy generation and so forth. But we have to be realistic. That is not going to happen very soon in Tshwane. We first need to get the basics right to stabilize the situation. But hopefully, we can draw inspiration from what has been achieved in Cape Town, but also by the bigger project that if we can get the capital city working, we can certainly get South Africa working after 2024.
Well, Cilliers, thank you very much for that. We wish you well, and we do appreciate you taking time out and talking to us this morning right here on Salam Media.
I appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Cilliers Brink with us this morning, DA mayoral candidate for the city of Tshwane, with us this morning. And with that, we're going to be signing off. We've come to the end of this morning's broadcast, this morning's edition of News and Views. I'll be back with you tomorrow morning. So from myself and the team, we wish you well. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.